Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Random Crafty Acts, or welcome to Random Crafty Acts. If you haven't been here before, my name is Barb. I am a card maker for Operation Gratitude. It's one of the places I donate to. I'm also have majorly accumulated a lot of 12 by 12 paper. And I'm not a scrapbooker. I'm totally, I do some other paper crafting, but mostly I make cards. So, in order to get rid of my stash, and also in order to stay in card making, since I'm on what is commonly referred to as a no-buy, I have been going through my 12 by 12 paper, looking for patterns that work together and so that I can make cards with it. Which means that I need a plan going in, because that's how I work. My go-to person is Jess from jesscrafts.com. Jess has a lot of templates on her page that I highly recommend. And one of the things I really like about her approach is that she does the math so that you have a way to cut the 12 by 12 paper, a copy of what it's going to look like when you put it together. There is also always a YouTube video you can watch, and the big thing is you end up without any pattern paper scraps from the way she cuts it. So this particular template number 4, is the 12 by 12, and what I found from this one was I could make six cards. Okay, basically you're going to have the 3 by 4 pieces, which will go here. Then you take the other 3 by 4 pieces and you cut them on the diagonal, and they go in the corners. This works really, really well with double-sided paper, which is what I set out to work with. This is a piece of foiled paper that had this design on one side and this design on the other. I cut all of the pieces like this, okay? And then cut the strips in 3s, and then cut them in 4s, and then cut these on the diagonal so that I could flip the diagonal and put them in the corners. She adds a 3 by 4, the 3 by 4 piece in the middle. She adds a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 mat. Grab this over here. I followed her suggestion from another video where if you take your 8.5 by 11 piece and you turn it landscape, okay, and cut it at 3 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then shift it and cut the 4 1/4 in 2 pieces, you end up with one little 1 1/4 strip, okay, which works really well for not having a lot of cardstock left over, even from the mat that you put around it. The other piece I added, and anyone who does these templates always encourages us to try to like build on it or use it as a jumping off point. This mat here is a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I really like the way it creates a line around the back. The first time I made one of them using this, I just went ahead and ran this down into the corner, okay, of the 4 1/4 and 5 3/8. And then the next time I pulled it in just a little bit so it kind of left an even border all the way around. You could also easily do this without putting any kind of mat in here. I have 6 that I've already finished, okay, that as I'm sitting here chatting with you. I'm going to take a 2-inch circle and an 1 3/4 circle and create a sentiment by putting the white circle inside here. I chose a white card base because the background here is white. Now, with this, you could put it here, okay, or you could put it in the middle. Either way works. I might take into consideration how I feel about this piece, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to do one of each. So put that there. I'm using Beverly Arts glue, mostly because it gives me what I refer to as wiggle room. Okay, now, it's not that I don't like it down there with the border around the outside, but I do want to do at least one with it up in the center. Okay, you don't need to watch me do that, so I'm going to set those aside. I usually take the template and just kind of set it out of the way. I have put 3 packets together because I had 3 of these sheets. So I'm going to make a couple of them here for you to watch. All right, so the first thing I do when I make a card set, I thought, okay, this one, I didn't have all of the, there they are. Okay. I usually, when I'm doing this, I go through and I put everything together. I do all of my cutting at one time. There we go. Okay, so these are the backgrounds, the mats for the 3x4s. Okay, and this is what's referred to as non-directional paper because while these look right side up and these look upside down, you can turn them and it's the same way. Okay, all of the gold ones are like that, and that is gold foil that's in there. Okay, and then I centered that. All right, and I take one of the 4 1/4 by 5 3/8, and I flip it so that I've got the kind of checkeredy, and I just line that so it's got a little bit of a border. Okay, put that there. I take this, put this here, and I just kind of try to get it centered. That's my air conditioning going in the background. I'm filming this the last day of June. It rained again last night, which is nice. It also means that I'm in Southern Illinois and we specialize in humidity. So while it is a comfortable temperature here in my she shed, it is melting outside and the air is very heavy. Okay, all right, so these go together pretty quickly. I'll put a couple of them This will be a pretty short video. I figure you don't need to watch me make that many cards. I know that on Jess on Jess Craft's site, there are a couple things that you may find interesting. If you're interested in making cards to donate, she has information on a lot of different places to donate cards. She has some pages that have things you could put on the inside of cards, like jokes and other little like puzzles and those kinds of things. I work with Operation Gratitude, and we leave our cards blank on the inside. She does a lot of her embellishments and stuff. She makes a lot of cards for kids. And so you'll see that. I find her videos very, very helpful. She also, with her templates, she works with all different size papers. So 12 by 12, 6 by 6, 6 by 8, 8.5 by 11. Most of the cards she makes are A2 size cards, which are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Oh, you know what? I didn't think about putting it down there, but that looks kind of nice too. Okay, so we'll just keep moving this sentiment around, trying it in different spots. Now there is a theory that I've heard that since the sentiment is what is likely to catch your eye as a part of the focal point, okay, that it should go closer to here so that you want to open the card. Okay, well, let's make one more and see how it looks if we put the sentiment on the other side, just so we have some variety. And again, the fact that I cut all these different pieces up was based on the fact that you know, anyway, I went through my whole big box of foil 12 by 12, and I pulled out everything that it looked like I could match up. And I have some sheets that I just don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I've got a couple of sheets that are thicker than others, and they're like great big images. One of them it's a beautiful image of an owl, but it's like 8.5 by 11. It's huge. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I mean, it's not even the kind of thing I can cut out and glue on something. So the first thing I do in that situation is I look at what's on the other side. And then if there's nothing on the other side that I can just flip it over and use instead, I will go through and basically dissect a piece of paper and I will like cut out, like maybe I can get 3 pieces this size in a plain color. And so I do that, and so that I've done something with it. I don't have any friends that scrapbook that I could give it to. If it's paper that would work for something, but it just won't work for me, I keep some things like that in a stack, and I take that to my local library because they have a big children's program there, and that way they can use it for that. Okay, so here's 3 different approaches. Okay. It's 3. Didn't we do one more with it on the outside? We did. I wonder what I did with that. Oh, that's because that's over here in this other one. So that doesn't count. Okay. All right. And so I'll do these, put these last 3 together off camera. Okay. So I'm going to pause the camera for just a moment and finish this up. Okay, I decided to reconnect this just to go through with something that happened as I started putting it. So the first thing I noticed was that this was not quite right. Okay, so the first thing you do is, since these are supposed to be 4 1/4, and I look at this and somehow these got cut at 4 1/2. All right, so I can fix that one. These, not that this is the end of the world, okay, but what I would do here is I want to get down to 4 1/4, so I'm gonna cut it at like, and there 4 1/2, so I'm gonna hit it at 4 3/8. Okay, and then come back to 4 1/4 here. And that's not quite, it's not quite centered, which is not the end of the world, but I'm not as happy as I was a minute ago. Okay, and then that's a little better. Okay, and so, you know, I'm not saying like to remeasure things, but one of the things to keep in mind is that, you know, if you find yourself in a situation like that, I mean, you can just, you can stop and remeasure. And then the other thing is to remember that there are things you can do that will draw attention away from that. So that's what we're going to look at. So these 2 we know are going to work. This one kind of concerned about. It's too late to pull this off of here because the ink has already started to dry. That's probably because I've got an air conditioner running and it's drying things out. So we slide that in there. Okay, so if we put this here, let's put the, oh, it's also crooked. And I don't have enough of that. I've got one alternative here. It'll take me a minute. Okay, it took me a minute. What I decided to do was cut the brown off. Okay, all the way around. And then I've got some more of this paper someplace, so I've taken this one out of one of the other paper kits, and then we're just going to try it again. Okay, that looks a lot better. And the first thing I want to say is we could have just left it. I mean, it's a homemade card, right? And with that in mind, if we had put the narrow edge down at the bottom and put the card this over here, that probably would have been enough to kind of draw the attention away from it. I usually try to find a solution to going back to the original plan. And I'll just go ahead and leave you on while I finish this. I was kind of gonna take a look at what it would be like to flip one over and do the green in the center as well. Which would also work. And that's another one of the advantages of being able to work with double-sided paper. So I've been timing this. It's taken me, because everything was already pre-cut, it's taken me not quite 20 minutes, I don't think. Maybe getting close to that. Oh. I did a lot of card making yesterday because I wanted to get my June Operation Gratitude box in the mail. I try to do one a month. And I was able to do that, but I was also in the position where I really did have all day to focus on that, and so I think I lost track. I think I did something like 33 cards and made a couple of videos, and I did a video where I separated the pieces out, the sections out, and sped them up and the whole thing. So I hope you'll find that helpful. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it. I link all of my videos have a link to Operation Gratitude, and so it helps push that out. There will also be a link to the video specifically for this template at Jess Crafts, so that you can go over and watch how she did it and the way she approached the 3x4 in the center. She buys pattern paper that has what they call cut-aparts, which they're often 3x5, and they're on the back side of a piece of scrapbook paper. And they're little 3x5 squares, and they've got sayings on them and pictures and everything. And they can come in real handy. They don't work very well for me because we have a couple of different kinds of sentiments that we're asked to focus on for Operation Gratitude. So, okay, so there's 6. So anyway, I was saying it's very easy to subscribe to my channel. You just click on the button that says subscribe. You can also click on the name of the channel and go over and check the playlist. and see the different videos I have. But if you subscribe, it will help push the videos out to people. You won't get, there's no cost. You won't get emails. You won't get texts. You won't have anything pop up. Okay, so there's 6 of those. All right, made with this template by jesscrafts.com. Thank you for being here with me, and keep checking back.